guys, first of all, I want to say thank you for clicking on this video. My name is Hannah KJ, and I've been wanting to make this video for a very long time. I just honestly didn't know where to start. Today I'm going to be talking about my experience with adoption. With adoption, there's literally so much, so you don't know where to start. But I'm going to try today, so hopefully I'll answer any questions or you'll get to know me a little bit more. So if you want to hear more about little old me, stay tuned. So I was born in Chicago, Illinois on April 1st, 1995. I was born Cornelia Denise Rasco. My name was changed to Hannah K. Johnson in the adoption process. I've never met my biological parents. I've seen one picture of my biological mom, but it wasn't like a great picture, and it was kind of like a profile view, so I didn't really get a good idea of what she looked like. I have no idea who my biological father is, so that's just out the gate. I don't know who he is. But my biological mother was into alcoholism, drugs, things like that. So when I was born, I believe 6 to 8 weeks prematurely. I was also born with fetal alcohol syndrome, and I was born addicted to drugs. So I know that I was placed in at least one other foster home before I was in the Johnson household. I was taken out of there because I believe it had something to do with them smoking, and I had really bad asthma, especially as an infant and as a kid. I had really bad asthma, so I was taken out of there, and then I was placed in the Johnson household in October of 1995, so when I was about 6 months old. When it comes to my adoption story, I like to think that I'm very lucky. I'm lucky because, number one, I was placed into a family that were good people. There are a lot of foster care stories where people are placed into these terrible situations, and it's just a really sad thing. So I'm very lucky that I did not have to go through that. I'm also very lucky because I was able to be placed in a home with two of my biological siblings. So two of my sisters, we have the same biological mother. We were able to be placed in the same home and then adopted into the same family. So I was able to grow up with some piece of like my biological family. So my mom would tell me, like, the social worker called and basically said, she had another baby. Would you like to take her? And my parents, yeah, sure, of course. That blows my mind because people prepare for months to bring a child into their home, and for a couple or a family to be so just receptive to literally getting a phone call and have a baby coming, because I was 6 months, coming that, the next day or so. Like, you have to be selfless. Like, you literally just have to be the most selfless people in the world. So when you think about adoption and all those people have to jump through and all the inspections, the meetings, the money it costs to adopt one child, I was brought into the Johnson household in October of 1995. The adoption was not final or official until July of 1998. So that's like two and a half years that this adoption was not made final. Like, the whole process just blows my mind. I think it's a beautiful thing. I just, I wish any child that was put in the unfortunate situation of not being able to experience a family, I hope that one day they'll get to experience it. Okay, so the Johnson family. We are crazy. That's just what it is. So there are 7 girls and there are 4 boys. So there's Hannah, Molly, Ashley, Jenny, Nicole, Teresa, Erica. And then there is David, Matthew, Nathan, and Andrew. And I'm the youngest and the favorite. One of my siblings actually passed away 10 years ago. David passed away, and it was hard. That was my brother. honestly, it was a hard time for the whole family. It was really hard to watch my parents go through that because, like, these are the kids that they chose, like, and it was really hard to watch my parents go through that. But honestly, in the end, I think it really brought us closer together when that happened. I think we valued each other's time more. Wow, I'm getting emotional. Yeah, so we miss you, David. I love you forever and always. But yeah, so when we would go out, like go out to eat or like I don't know, go places, people would stare so hard. We we used to pull up in what we call Big Willie, which is this what was it like tannish, yellowish, yellowish 15 passenger van. We used to pull up. Oh my goodness, we hated that van. Whenever like our parents would come pick us up, we would put our hoods on so fast and like run to the car. And we would always get yelled at because they'd be like, some people don't have cars and you guys are embarrassed and blah, 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 blah. And like, yeah, I know, but drive. We had a big old house. Everybody loved the Johnson house. It had 8 bedrooms, 5 or 6 bathrooms. All my friends used to love coming over. Sleepovers at my house all the time. It was super fun. I had a really good childhood. So you guys might think this is really weird, or not weird, but like, really? So I did not grasp being adopted until I believe it was after kindergarten. Yeah, like first or second grade. And I remember I was in Kung Fu class, and I remember people were going around talking about, oh, I get this from my dad, I get this from my mom, blah, 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 blah. And I remember I said something, like, I don't remember exactly what I said I get from, like, my mom or whatever. And somebody was like, well, you don't really count because you're adopted. Kids are so mean because I was like, what? And it was probably just because I didn't fully grasp the concept of adopted. In my head, it was just like, you're different, you're not fitting in. And I remember I went home and I cried so hard, and I told my mom and dad, and I was like, they said I was adopted, like, you know, like it was a bad thing or something. And, you know, my parents just sat me down and just kind of explained to me what adopted was, and I was just like, oh, well, that would make sense because I'm black and you're white. But, you know, as a kid, you don't get that. Like, I just, like, that's my mom. Like, that was my mommy. And that was my daddy. And, like, that was that. It wasn't, like, I didn't see, I guess, as a kid, you don't think about it like that. But, yeah, that's how I found out or understood that I was adopted. No real identity issues stem from there, but I will say that at that moment, I knew and I understood that our family was different. And I did not necessarily care for the attention we got because we were different. I didn't want extra attention. I didn't want people asking questions. I didn't want to talk about it. I wanted to be a kid. I wanted to be normal. I wanted to be like everyone else. And I felt like that's just something for people to pick on you about. And people did. So moving forward into like middle school, the tween years, here comes the you're not black enough thing. And that sucked because I am a dark-skinned black young lady at the time named Hannah. So I automatically got picked on because of my name. It was like, haha, you have a white name. Then I had white parents. And it just felt like anything, it just felt like to the black kids on the outside looking in were literally just like, you can't relate. Now, on the flip side of that, my parents, I love my parents. My parents did everything that they could to make sure we never felt like we were the token black child or there weren't people that looked like us. You know, my mom got me dolls that looked like me. Now, we could have went to an elementary school that was literally a minute or two from our house, But instead, my parents drove 15 to 20 minutes down to a school that was predominantly black, just so we would be able to be around people that looked like us, so we could be comfortable. And it's kind of funny because that's the reason my parents put us down there. But at the same time, those kids, no, I want to say those kids because I have a lot of good friends from that school, but some of those kids picked on me about it, and I was not black enough, and I was an Oreo, and it's just like you couldn't win. In all honesty, it's like I was too black for the white kids, but I was too white for the black kids. And that is where identity issues started. Because, yeah, in the moment, you can laugh it off. You can, yeah, whatever. But, like, that hurt. Like, it hurt when you, like, feel like you can't belong somewhere. So sometimes people ask me if I'm going to adopt. And I think people think that, like, when you're adopted, that automatically makes you want to adopt. But for me, in my personal feelings, I feel like being adopted makes me want to give birth to children more. And I don't want that to sound bad, like, forget the kids. You know what I mean? I always will endorse and always support adoption. Like, that's a beautiful thing. But I feel like it makes me want to have children of my own that I gave birth to more. So that is basically my experience with being adopted without going too much into detail, because this video could be like 2 hours long. But I am going to be doing a part 2 where I talk about how I reconnected with my biological family and my experiences with them so far. So if you are interested in that, just let me know in the comments. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel at Hannah KJ. Thank you again for clicking on this video. It's really nice to see people interested in me. Yeah, little old me. So you guys have a good day. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.